Thank you.
All right, members of the jury, the case is going to be submitted to you shortly, but first we're going to draw our alternate jurors. Again, we have extra jurors just in case someone becomes sick
you need to
or is
pause?
unable to proceed.
Nope,
So
not
we're going to
yet.
call
My notebook.
3 alternate jurors. If you are an alternate juror, it may be disappointing to get to this stage in the trial and not be in the deliberation process, but I have in the past had to call back an alternate juror to come back in the jury room when a juror is unable to proceed. So the admonition would still apply to you until we call you and let you know that you're excused. If I don't see you again as far as an alternate, I want to thank you for participating in this process. We couldn't have done it without you. Now we're going to use our very scientific method and draw numbers out of a hat here.
He probably says that every trial.
He does.
Yep.
3,
Juror 3, you're our
We're going to
first alternate.
pause
We're gonna
after
draw
this
another.
busy.
16,
16, okay, and
7.
jurors 3, 7, and 16, 7.
Okay,
7.
let me check my notes.
Okay. 3, 16, and then 7.
So juror 3 is a male. He initially started out as juror 7. He's an elected official of a nonprofit. He's divorced. He has 5 grown children, and he hasn't served on a jury before. I think he's the bald guy with a goatee, and I've seen him leaving. He leaves for lunch every day. Somebody else in the court saw him at Five Guys one day. And I saw him coming back from lunch off campus one day. So he's out. I don't know what that means. Juror 7 was the young DoorDasher. Okay, so he sits up on the top row, 2 down from juror 9. So juror 9 is what Tracy calls Captain Jack. Jack. There's a young lady next to him that's juror 8, and juror 7 is like a younger guy. He wears flannel most days. He's got long dark hair and some facial hair. Don't know much except he's been working for DoorDash for a month. He's single and he's never served on a jury before. Don't know much about him. Didn't notice much out of baseline with him during the trial. And then what's the last one? 16?
3, 7, 16. Yep.
I don't have many notes on her at all. I didn't write down what her job was. She is a younger gal, but I have noticed during the trial that she is one of the more studious note takers. So they're losing her notes for deliberations.
Okay. So originally it was 8 and 8, right? 8 male, 8 female, and then the one elder gentleman left. So now we've lost 2 more males and 1 female.
So juror 10 was a male, and 3 was a male, and
6.
7 was a male. So we've
6.
lost 3 males and 1
5.
female from the original 7 and 7.
So it's 5 and 7.
8.
5,
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. 5 males, 7 females. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Just wondering. Yeah. Okay. Let me just make a note of that. 5 males now and 7 females. Do you think that favors? Which side do you think that favors? If it favors a side at all?
I was really worried that juror number 5 was going to be one of the alternates. Like I was literally, no, I wasn't literally on pins and needles because that would have hurt. I was figuratively on pins and needles, hoping that juror 5 wouldn't be kicked out because he has been the most studious note taker. He was on the edge of his seat at appropriate times. He was leaning back at times when I wasn't sure what that meant. But today, during both closing statements, Trina Kay's and Lori's, he was leaning back. So that doesn't mean anything. When he's leaning back for both sides, it doesn't mean anything. He's just like trying to be relaxed and comfortable. But the guy that I thought might be one of the eligible jury foremen was juror number 3, and he was like an older, middle-aged guy that's just like kind of the guy that everybody's going to look to and be like, hey, do you want to be the jury foreman? But we'll see. Do we want to start answering questions?
Sure.
All right.
Before we do, Widespread Panic had a question, and I think Trace kind of dropped. We were wondering about the ages of the kids, and in the opening, I'm sorry, Brandon says at the time of the incident, he says the names of his kids. I'm sorry, he says the ages of his kids.
Okay.
So, Trace, should I say their names? Because he said their names. Brandon said their names.
And that's on Court TV. That's like on public feed. Yeah. Then it should be okay.
All right.
Just first names. But we know their last names.
I know, right? All right. Let's just say the oldest was 9. Now, I'm pretty sure he said at the time of this happened, the eldest was 9.
That
so
makes
whatever
sense.
I say, just add. Yeah. So add say 6 years, 5 years, because we're not sure when they were born.
Right.
So 9 plus 5, so 14. And I think Trace, you said this already. You may have already said this. So the oldest would be 14, and then 9, and then wait, 5 years. I'm adding 5 years. So 14, 10, 9, and then 7.
Okay.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah, because then the oldest 3 would have been in school back then in 2019. So he dropped them off at school, and then the youngest would have been 3 years old and probably still in diapers. That's the age where they're going through potty training. So that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I found his Facebook page, and he and Jenny have 2 more kids.
Yes.
So yeah, that's yeah.
And today in the waiting area, while we were waiting to get into court, 2 ladies showed up who haven't shown up to court before, and they're like, "Hey, where do we sit down?" So I am now the official Maricopa County Superior Court 5th floor tour guide. So
I'm telling you, need like a flag, you need a pole with a flag and a
right,
bullhorn.
yep, yeah, and a whistle.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that. But they're like, okay, we came in and we have a number, or no, we've been put on the list. They said we've been put on the list, and I'm like, there's no list. It's public seating is first come first served. And they're like, oh no, we're with Brandon Boudreau's family, and I'm like, oh okay. Well, you're gonna get seated all at the same time. You go into like the victim's family room all at the same time. And they were there way before, like an hour and a half before that usually happens. So I was like, come sit down in the media area, get yourselves comfortable. But it turns out they are the neighbors of Brandon Boudreau, and their daughter is best friends with Brandon's oldest daughter.
Oh,
so that was kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I was like, they were all worried. They're like, we need to sit in the right spot. Are we sitting in the right spot? I'm like, you'll get taken care of. And they do take care of the victims' families and associated, people very well at that courthouse. They do a really good job.
Good to hear.
You must be so tired. Oh my gosh. Will you get to rest tomorrow? No, I won't get to rest tomorrow. It's up and Adam early tomorrow. We need to make sure that all the seats that need to be get gotten tomorrow, because there's going to be super heightened public scrutiny for tomorrow. So no rest tomorrow, but there will be rest the day after tomorrow. That's the story of this trial. No rest tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow.
Right. How confident are you that they'll come to a verdict tomorrow? What's your level of confidence?
93.6%.
93.6.
Yep. Tune it in on your FM dial.
You heard it here first. 93.6% confidence level.
And yes, I do get tired. This case wears me out. I will tell you my Groundhog Day quote when it's all done, but not prematurely.
Oh, please do.
Loss? No, we're gonna see justice in this case, so I will not feel loss. What do I do now? Yes, 100%. And I have to go back to the roots of my channel, which were finding justice for Abby and Libby. And then I moved on to finding justice for JJ and Tylee and Charles and Tammy and now Brandon. And the next one is going to be helping to find justice for somebody. So wherever that road takes me, that's where it will go. But yes, what do I do now? What do I do next? That's a very valid question. And I literally get asked that probably 3 times a day in the courthouse. What's next?
You get in this routine, right? Even though it's tiring and it's draining, you just get in this routine, and it's amazing how when it's gone, there is kind of that sense. I can identify with that. What therapists said, there's that sense of like, I'm glad it's over, but I'm also like missing it, because your body gets used to it,
Right.
Especially longer trials, right? Was the Delphi? How long were you there for Delphi? Were you there for
let's see it. I went to the August 1st hearing, and then I was there through the end of October. So August, September, 3 months.
Yeah. I mean, that's enough time for your body, your mind, your spirit, everything to get used to it,
which blows your mind in this, because today was day 5.
Yeah.
And we're at jury deliberations on day 5. That it's mind blowing.
Yep.
I mean, how many days did Karen Reed go? Karen Reed's into the 20 something days. Are they into the 30 something days? I don't even know, but their jury deliberations are probably going to go a lot longer than this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Yes. So the judge said everybody needs to stay within 20 minutes of the courthouse, because they will give 20 minutes notice. Honestly, it probably will be more like 30 minutes notice once a verdict is reached.
And there is going to be a delay, right? Like maybe 5 minutes or something, or
yes, correct.
5 minute delay. Okay.
So I will have it on Twitter before you see it on Court TV pool feed.
Okay. So no spoiler alerts. We're going to tell our chat that, because I'll be looking, but I'm going to be like, no spoiler alerts. We want to watch it. Watch it live.
Yep, absolutely. I didn't see them being upset. I think they were a little confused, like, what do I do now that I'm an alternate? But I didn't see them being upset. And we just talked about what their bio history was. Yeah, number 16, she was the one taking a bunch of notes. Absolutely. Yes, I think we're all pretty confident of that. Alex, Adam. Don't forget Adam.
Stacy's
Summer.
And Summer, yep. Stacy passed away. That's
Yep.
Melanie's mom. Stacy was the oldest.
Right. Yeah, we talked about this before. I think they could.
Oh, real quick. Oh, you had, I had some votes and you had a poll. So
I did.
while you end your poll. So we had 300 votes, which was awesome. Did the state prove their case? 94% of you said yes. 5% of you said no. We talked about what Mr. Balance looks like. 130 votes was, do you think the evidence is stronger in this trial or in Charles's trial? 41% of you thought the same, 36% thought Charles, and 22% of you thought Brandon, that the evidence was stronger in Charles's trial than Brandon. So I thought that one kind of threw me. I thought, my personal opinion is I thought it was stronger in Brandon's, but what do you think?
I did too, but I heard other people at the trial today saying they thought the other one was stronger.
Okay.
So
Yeah. All right. So what's the result of your poll? What do you have?
all right. So how long will the deliberations last? Oh my gosh, poll complete, 69 votes. 69 votes.
Nice.
Nice. 2 to 4 hours. 52%. That's the majority. People think it will last 2 to 4 hours.
That's where I landed.
Less than 2 hours was 27%, so about a fourth. So we have a half and a fourth at less than 2 hours, and half at 2 to 4 hours. And then 4 to 8 hours, 17%, and then more than 8 hours is 2%.
Yeah, judging from the Charles, I had 2 hours and 20 minutes. You said it was like less than 2 hours, though?
It was less than 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go, I think I went with 2 to 4. That's always the safe one for me, because I figure it always takes them at least an hour to get through jury instructions, and then an hour to kick around. And then, they don't count when they take lunch, right? They don't count that as deliberating because you're not supposed to deliberate. Is that?
No, you're not supposed to deliberate during lunch, but do we as the public know that they're not deliberating at lunch, like they're taking a lunch break? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if they factor that in or not.
Do we know when to stop the clock?